Hello and welcome to Shannon Gardens. Thank you guys so much for joining me. So today I wanted to share with you guys a nursery visit that I went on recently where I was looking for some houseplants. And what I loved about this nursery is that they divided the houseplants by their lighting requirements. So it really made it a lot easier to go in and know what I'm looking for with regard to lighting and then see all of my options from there, or at least begin choosing my plants from there. So I wanted to share that with you guys and some of the plants that I came across based on their lighting requirements. Now, before I do that, I also wanted to share with you guys just a few things that I bear in mind before I go houseplant shopping. So one of the first things that I do bear in mind, speaking of lighting requirements, when I am looking for my houseplants are the lighting requirements for that space where I'm looking to add my house plant. If you are having difficulty in determining what kind of lighting requirements or what kind of lighting you have in your space, one method that you may want to try is holding up a white blank sheet of paper and holding your hand about 8 inches in front of it. And if you see a clearly defined shadow of your hand, then that's more of a higher light. If you see a fuzzy shadow of your hand, then that's going to be more of a medium light. And if you see a very blurry, very ill-defined shadow of your hand or no shadow, then that's going to be more of a low light. So you really want to bear that in mind. You want to check it throughout the day because that certainly may change, but it'll give you an overall idea of what kind of lighting you have in the space that you're looking to add your house plant. Now, another thing that I bear in mind is the level of difficulty in taking care of the house plant. My personal preference is not to have a lot of difficult plants when it comes to my house plants. I do prefer to spend a lot of my time outdoors and outdoor gardening. So I love the look of house plants. I love having them around, but I don't necessarily want to spend a lot of time worrying with them. I really want more of a easier to grow and something that is going to suit my needs, not only with its ease of growth, but also with its watering requirements and with its humidity requirements. So I really try to bear all of that in mind and how that fits into my lifestyle. Now, speaking of humidity, I'll just tell you guys that my more humidity loving plants actually are kept in bathrooms because those are the most humid places in my house. And then my other plants that don't need so much humidity are kind of spread throughout the house. So that's just something also to maybe bear in mind when you're choosing plants for your home and you're looking to place them in certain locations. That's what I found works for me, and I wanted to pass that along to you guys as well. I also generally tend to use, with regard to fertilizer, an all-purpose indoor-outdoor fertilizer like Osmocote for the majority of my plants. Now, there are some plants that do require specialized fertilizers like succulents and orchids, and I will use those when appropriate. But all in all, again, I'm looking for that ease of use, and so I just want something very easy that I can use, and the all-purpose fertilizer from Osmocote has worked for me. So just another thing to bear in mind when you're choosing a plant and how much time you want to spend on caring for your plants. One thing that I did want to mention is I recently did a video where I was repotting plants, and it goes into a bit more description as far as what I'm looking for when I'm repotting plants and how I go about it. So I will link that video in the description if that's something that you're interested in and would like to learn more about as well. Of course, and then one thing to definitely bear in mind, and if you guys have watched any of my videos before, I'm sure you've heard me mention this, but you want to make sure that you are adding the right plant to your environment. A lot of plants will be noted when you research that they may be toxic to pets, they may be toxic to people, and so you just want to make sure that the plant that you're bringing into your home is appropriate for your environment. I will tell you guys that my rule of thumb for my home is that I place my fake plants actually within arm's reach where pets can get them. Those are where my fake plants go. My real plants are up where a pet can't get to them. So it's just bearing in mind your environment and what plants work best for your home, both indoor and outdoor plants. Okay, so with that, let's go ahead and check out the video and I'll share with you guys the plants that I came across during my nursery visit. So first we're going to begin in houseplants for low light, and I first came across pothos. Now, these are noted as adaptable plants that are easy to care for. They come in a bunch of different varieties and color variations. One thing to note is the variegated varieties may need a bit more light to keep their variegation. Next up are aglaonemas, which are easy to grow. There are many different types, and it is noted that the variegated varieties may require a little more light than the darker green varieties. Next, we have the Sansevieria or snake plant. These are also noted to be easy to grow, and they also tolerate drought, which is nice as well. Next, we have the Calathea, which I found very interesting because they are a tropical plant, but they do have the lower light requirements, and that's because they grow beneath trees in the wild. They also prefer a warmer, humid environment. Moving on into medium light requirements, we have first the Dracaena, and there were a lot of different types to choose from and color variations. Now, these are noted to thrive in bright indirect light, but it's also noted that some can tolerate lower light as well. Now, you do have to be careful because the leaves can burn and the color can fade in direct sunlight. Next up, we have ferns. The first one here is an asparagus foxtail. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I have not had the best luck with ferns, and I think that's because I'm not meeting the watering requirements that they need. But they are beautiful. Let me know in the comments if you guys have any luck with your ferns. This one here is a lemon button. Now, I have been told that a good beginner's fern and the easier of the ferns to grow is the bird's nest fern, which is pictured right here. Next up, we have the peperomia plants. Now, these are low maintenance plants and they are also considered clean air plants. The leaves can come in a variety of colors and sizes, and I will tell you guys, I have a few different varieties of peperomia and have really had an easy time of taking care of them and keeping them healthy. Next up, we have philodendron. Now, these come in both vining and non-vining varieties. They are considered low maintenance and generally fast growers. And I have to say, this Prince of Orange variety has to be my favorite out of the ones that I saw when I went to visit the nursery. Next, we're moving into the highlight plants, starting with this sago palm. While it was in the highlight section, I did read that too much light can damage the foliage, so that's something to bear in mind. Next, we have the anthurium, which is also called the flamingo flowers, and just look at that beautiful color. These are noted to need high humidity and warmth. Next up is the Guzmania bromeliad. Now, these are noted to be generally taller than other bromeliads and are also noted to be easy to care for. They come in a variety of sizes, shapes, and colors. Next up, we have the beautiful crotons. Now, I've read that these can be challenging to grow indoors, and I've actually usually seen them more in fall outdoor displays. Evidently, the difficulty is largely in part due to the temperature and humidity requirements, and they are also noted to not like overwatering. But I have to say, the colors and varieties are absolutely beautiful. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I always enjoy going and looking at different plants and learning different facts about plants, and it's so fun to share that as well. So, thank you so much again. Please make sure to like and subscribe. And until next time, happy gardening and goodbye.